What's up, YouTube? It's your boy DR2727. Shout out to my Transformers collectors, 1/12 scale collector, whatever you collect, shout out to you. And this month's video for April 2022 is my top 5 Transformers fiction / media of all time. And before we get to that, I just want to apologize to you guys. I know I'm supposed to do a monthly video, and this is the last day of the month, but life has been kicking my butt. Work has been kicking my butt, more so life, but able to overcome that hump and give you guys something. I enjoy doing these videos once a month, so just forgive me. I have something cool planned for May. I just need the community's involvement. I have some announcements leading up to it, but just stay tuned to my channel and I'll let you guys know what it is. We start off with number 5, and the 5th best Transformers fiction / media for me is Transformers Animated. I thought Transformers Animated was such a fun show. It kept the spirit of G1. It kept the spirit of what you knew as Transformers, and it added a modern twist and introduced some characters in new ways. And it was a cool story, even though it had a little too much human interaction. It didn't have as much human interaction as kind of the other shows, and the bots did have a chance to shine. So I really enjoyed Transformers Animated. I thought it was a very fun show, and I thought it kept the spirit of G1 while doing some unique things too. So that's my number 5, Transformers Animated. Number 4 is Transformers video games, The Fall of Cybertron and The War for Cybertron specifically. And the reason these are number 4, and actually they could be higher for me, but they brought me back into Transformers. So it was kind of a place. It's only been really 2 times in my life I've been out of Transformers. That was, as a teenager when I had to found girls, and then kind of as an adult, kind of like when the Bayverse and all that stuff kind of turned me off, and I had just distanced myself with Transformers. The video games came out and they just brought me right back in. Incredible gameplay, incredible story. I mean, it was just amazing. It was everything I always wanted in a Transformers video game and Transformers fiction. And to put it in a video game format and to come back and do a second one that was just as good as the first one, and it told a story that made sense pre G1. So, it used the characters, but it kind of created its own mythology. And you can quote unquote call that canon. Like, I love the games, and I think that I love them so much that I have in my collection. I have the Jupiter, the Pluto, the Prime, the Bumblebee, the Starscream, Starscream, Bumblebee, Prime, Megatron, and I'm always going to keep them in my collection along with the cases from and the 2 video games for PlayStation, because that's how much that video games or that collection of games mean to me. One of my favorite Transformers fiction of all time, number 4, the Transformers video games, War for Cybertron and Fall for Cybertron. Number 3, and this may be cheating, but my third choice is Transformers the movie, the 1986 movie. And I separate that from G1 because I think it's its own phenomenon, it lives by itself in Transformers fiction, the media, to me, because whenever we talk about the 86 movie, it's the 86 movie. And I think that, it's beyond iconic for me. I remember when Unicron transformed as a planet, when Prime died in the first act, the introduction of Galvatron and Cyclonus, Galvatron killing Starscream, the Junkions, just so many iconic things with the 86 movie. I think that it should stand by itself, and even though it may be cheating, I think I'm right for putting it in here by itself, and it's the 3rd best Transformers fiction to me of all time. The number 2 Transformers media / fiction for me of all time is G1. As Bobby Skullface says. It's not that much that needs to be said. It's the OG, it's the beginning, it's the first, it's the Adam if you're a Christian person or believe it's an Adam from Adam and Eve. It's where all this comes from, and it's still hold the crown as having the most memorable, the most meaningful to me, but it's not the best. But number 2 is G1. You all know the score. We all know the score with this, because without G1, would none of this be here. And the number 1, the best Transformers fiction / media for me is IDW Transformers, specifically the More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light comic books. Now, there are some good stories outside of those books, like The Last Stand of the Wreckers, the Shockwave, the Dead Universe one. I forget the name of that one. It's another Wreckers book that's pretty good. But More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light, kind of specifically that collection of books, they build on top of all the Transformers lore we've had, and it's so interesting because it makes It creates new characters, a la the DJD, and it makes characters who had a very little to no part in G1, Beast Wars, whatever iteration, and made them interesting, a la Swerve. So I think that IDW did a good job of building off a Dreamwave, and I think that what G1 meant to us as kids, and how good we viewed it as kids, that's how good IDW is as adults. And I used to collect comic books. I was a huge Marvel fan in the 90s. I was Jim Lee X-Men. I used to love the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and I've read like the Infinity Gauntlet. I've read a whole bunch of comic books, and I'm pretty much an intermediate as far as comic books. But I would say that this is the best comic book fiction I've ever read. And this may be a little cap because I'm such a Transformers fan that I just care more about the characters and just the lure in general. But I will say this: I can't get enough of IDW more than Meets the Outlaws. Like whenever I get time, I've read it over and over and over again. I pick it up, reread it, and I find something different every time, and it engages me in a different way every time. So just like us little kids used to love G1, as an adult, check out IDW. It's the best thing. Check out More Than Meets the Eye. Check out Lost Light. If you can go back to Dreamwave and get some of those character spotlights, get those. Those were good things. But specifically, More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light. I'm telling you, it adds a it adds a layer to Transformers that's sorely needed as us G1ers have grown up and become mature. IDW More Than Meets the Eye, specifically More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light, is my best Transformers fiction of all time. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.